Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. So as you can see here on my desk, I've got a pile of new computer parts. I've also got my tried and true Rosewool Cullinan case here to the left of me. And yeah, essentially I'm upgrading about a 6 or 7 year old PC. I was running an 8600K Z370M motherboard. So essentially I'm going with the new Intel Core i5. This is the 12400. Pairing with this guy right here, which is the ASUS Prime B660M D4. This is the non-Wi-Fi model. What I purchased is some DDR4. This is a 32 gig kit, 3600 megahertz speed. This is a fancy RGB RAM, which should be really cool. Other than that, I've got a couple bits and pieces here, some new, some old. Running the EVGA 600GD 600 watt gold power supply. I also did an unboxing video of this product here. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and link in the description below for you guys to check out. Graphics, this is an older card that I've been running. This is the Red Devil 5600 XT. I will be looking to upgrade this to a 6700 XT in the very near future, but this has been working pretty well. Currently running a 1440p ultra wide display, and it's been perfectly fine with typically high. Some games can run ultra settings, but yeah, I guess it's about time to upgrade. Other than that, just got a few different drives here. The Intel SSD 6 1TB M.2 drive. And then I've just got a couple SSDs, Reaction by Munchkin, and then XPG SSD drives. So let's go ahead and start with this PC build. Alright, so with the motherboard, it is a Prime B660M AD4. This is one of the best budget boards. It's probably like the second best board. The only one I would get above this is the MSI Pro, which is a little bit higher in price points, which is why I went with this one here. But this one should be a lot better than the ASUS and then the Gigabyte B660M DS3H, which is probably one of the bare bones boards. So this one's really good for the money. So let's go ahead and crack this open really quick. Alright, so of course you get the board there. And then also included are two SATA 6 gigabit cables. There's one 90-degree elbow, which is really cool as well. Typical stuff, you get a very basic I/O shield, pretty much expected at this price point. User manual, you get your software on an old school DVD, also available online. And then you get some added risers, screws, and then a pad for the M.2 drive. Pretty fancy. Okay, and here is the i5 12400 CPU. Now this is not the unlocked version, this is just the standard 12400, so it does include a stock cooler, which from my understanding is actually pretty decent for a stock OEM cooler. And there it is right there, nice black coloring. Built-in fan, and you also get some pre-applied thermal paste on the back of that there. And then of course the main important part here, which is the CPU. Okay, so essentially with these main components we're ready to start the build. I'm gonna go ahead and use the motherboard box as a working surface. It's been a good 6 or 7 years since I've built a PC like this, so forgive me if I'm doing anything old school or out of date. And there's a close-up of the board there. It's got the 12th gen socket and will also support 13th gen as well. 4 DDR slots. maximum of 128 gigabytes. Also supports speeds of overclock to, I believe, 5,333 megahertz, which is really fast. As you can see here, we got a heatsink for the VRMs. Not one here on the top, unfortunately, but this one here on the side is pretty beefy. We've also got a heatsink for the M.2 drive, small heatsink here for the chipset. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Here's a close-up of the back I/O panel. 6 USB ports, 2 of them are 3.2 and then 4 of them are 2.0. Does come with the old school keyboard and mouse combo port, 1 gigabit Ethernet port, and then your typical audio jacks. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with this build. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the CPU in right now. Now the CPU does have an arrow on the bottom corner there, and that just helps with the orientation, but there are notches on the top and the bottom of the CPU and in the CPU holder on the motherboard, so it's really difficult to get that in the wrong orientation, but that's what it's there for. Alright, so let's go ahead and undo this. Move this up. Now, very carefully, you do not want to drop this in. You want to hold it on the left and the right sides of the processor and want to make sure that that is completely aligned before you drop it down, just like that, nice and gentle. You can even rock it back and forth a little bit just to make sure it's completely seated. Now, typically you're just supposed to push this down and this will pop up. I always just like to pop it up myself. Something about pushing it against the CPU that I'm really scared of. Just going to lay that out naturally, giving that a little quick wiggle before I set that down. And there it is, locked in place. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put the cable for the fan on the bottom left corner here, just based on the layout of the board here. Okay, and these are actually dual inline memory module sockets. So I'm going to go ahead and use channel A2 and B2 as described here in the manual. See it right there. And we are looking good. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this into my case. I've already have the power supply installed, so go ahead and wire everything up, install the graphics card, and hopefully we should be good to go. Okay, I've got my risers all in place. Let's go ahead and install our I/O shield. Setting this right in there. Just like so. And let's go ahead and find our screws. So this here is the cable for the CPU fan. Not sure if I'm going to run it up or around this way. This way looks like the way to go actually. So let's go ahead and do that. CPU fan, which is this top one here. So this is the 24 pin. It's the main motherboard connection for power. Just like so. There's also a front panel USB-C port right here. This case does not have one, but it is there for you on the motherboard. And once again, graphics card is the Power Color Red Devil 5600 XT. This card's been performing quite well for the past several years now. Probably overdue for an update on this build, and probably going to do a 6700 XT in the very near future. Alright, so let's go ahead and line our pins up and just let this naturally fall into place. Alright, and power for the graphics card is handled by these additional wires here. This one's just a 6-pin, so these other 2 wires are not needed. Alright, so here is what I got going on right now. So as you can see here, processor with the CPU cooler is installed. Got the 2.6 of RAM. Got the CPU cooler wired up. 8-pin connector for the CPU. Got this rear fan connected right there. Got my M.2 drive mounted. This is the graphics card right here. Got all my front panel I/O connected right here, along with my 2 SATA drives that I've got internally. I've also got 2 extra SATA ports right here that are facing at a 90 degree, which is really cool. This is for the dual 3.0 ports at the front of the case. Another fan header, which is this lower one right here. These two are operated by the switch above here. I can actually manually control that to low, medium, and high. Got my 24-pin connector for the power, and I just noticed this cable is braided, which is really nice for that stock cooler. It's not bad at all. It's actually not bad looking at all either. Looks almost aftermarket there. But yeah, essentially this build is all done. So theoretically, I just plug this in and power it up, and hopefully this will boot and everything will be all good. So I'm gonna go ahead and power this machine on and then run through the initial setup, install a fresh copy of Windows 10 Pro, and we should be off to the races. Alright guys, so that was my PC build. Hopefully this will last me another 5 to 6, 7, maybe even 8 years. Hopefully with just doing some minor updates down the line and as the years go on and technology advances. Anyways, thanks for watching. As usual, please consider hitting that subscribe button, like, comment as usual, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.